Hello, hello. What is going on, everybody? It is me, Jay Renard, and we are here with a real quick but fun project that I've been honestly sandbagging for a very long time. No one asked for it, but honestly, I should have done one of these projects a while ago. Hold on. Let me ensure that I can see everybody's comments here. Way too much is going on for that to happen, if I'm completely honest. But hey, we do what we must for the craft, right? So, as you can see here, the project itself is not very big. It's going to be pretty straightforward. All I have to do is ensure that I mark off about a quarter of an inch from the stitch line, and then from where the tooling will be. There's only going to be stitching on this end, here, this short end, and this here. Rotate this. All right, so this is already cased. I've already gotten a bit of water onto the thing already. Let's clear out all this excess. Doesn't need to be there. Also, sorry if the mic isn't the greatest. I don't have the adapter so that I can use the Rode mic. It is unfortunate. All right, so what we're going to be doing today is the outside of a wallet that is going to be, it's going to look like this. So this piece will go here. I'm sorry, this piece will go here in this particular orientation, like so. So the card will be here. It'll be able to get pushed up out that way, or cards, plural. They should hold more than one. And then on the other side, another card here, and then a pocket in the middle for cash or who knows more cards. Just depends on what folks want. And let me. All right, so what's going to be on the cover of this here is Goku. That is correct. We are doing a quick Dragon Ball Z tooling. Let me make sure that this is properly aligned here. Yep, a little bit of overlap from where the paper ends and where the transfer film ends, but it's all good. It's only about maybe half inch, nothing too crazy. Again, there's no stitching up here, so I can tool all the way to the edge. And this stops about here, so I don't really need to worry about where the tooling stops there. I'm tempted, honestly, to just let that go all the way up to the end because it's just hair, not a lot of detail. And the same thing over here. Not a lot of detail would be lost if I just stitched over it. It's only about an inch worth of stitching anyway. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right. Okay. So, okay. Hold on. Gotta turn that absolutely down. We don't need an echo up in here. There we go. Cool, cool. So now I can see if anybody has any comments. At least I should be able to see if there are any comments. And when they pop up, they should come through. And everybody, if you would please, as you come in, slide me a like. That lets the algorithm know that I'm not a terrible streamer. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or requests, go on ahead, let me know. And here we go. All right, so as I said before, this was already cased. I already wet this. This is coming back to a proper color. So you're going to open up this thing here that I should never have closed. And we're going to start this process here with a quick trace. So I like to use, for the trace out, these modeling tools. Thankfully, this is really straightforward. It's not all that special or unique black and white. So I should be able to do it all with this tool here and possibly with these tools here. So what we'd be doing, bring this up a bit closer, is tracing over the finer lines with this one here because this tip is more pointed, and some of the thicker lines with this one here. And primarily that's for me to get both the details, but also to know where to cut, because some things that are details don't need cutting with the swivel knife, which you can see some of them here. And so the things that don't necessarily need cutting would be done with this, and the things that definitely need cutting are going to get traced with this. All right, so let's get to it. And to keep the weight down, no, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in a bit. Hopefully that is sufficient. I think so. We're more or less centered in too, so should be good. So doing this, I'm gonna flatten out where I want everything to be. If there's less of a bulge, it should be better to keep this down so what I'm seeing here transfers better onto the piece there. So I'm going to start with the hardest parts first. So I'm going to start with things like the eyes, the parts in between the bridge of the nose, and then the ears. And then I'm going to transition over to the bigger parts. So that should go a lot quicker. So the eye part's going to take a bit. Sorry if my head gets in the way. That is not intentional, I assure you. I just want to get closer to it when I'm doing these finer points. And I have again forgotten to get some great background music, and for that, I am truly apologetic. All right. Little bit of the shading here. Some of that in the forehead. Not a lot of pressure, but there's got to be a little bit of something just to properly denote what all's going on with the features in the face. try to look over periodically if there are any questions, but if I miss something because I am on a particularly difficult stretch, I really apologize. Please don't take it personally. And for those who haven't already, you'll find when you're doing tooling that it's easier to pull than to push. So if you can, try to make sure that that is the nature of what it is that you're doing, is the pulling vice the pushing. It will make things go a lot easier and smoother. Now, sometimes it can't be helped. You're going to have to push, but I find that it's easier to pull than to push because you can better control your downward pressure. And your downward pressure is honestly where you're going to be putting a lot of damage on the paper that you have. Okay. Eyes, bridge of the nose should be done. A little bit of this action here. A little bit of the shading. I should have done this a while ago, if I'm completely honest. I just did not. Largely because facial features are hard, and if nobody asked for it, I wasn't gonna jump right into it. But honestly, it should have been the other way around. All right, I'm gonna roll for the ears now. Uh, why is this wobbly? So you all probably can't see that, but I can feel it. There's something underneath the pad here, and I've gone too far, so I can't stop it. All right, now for the shading. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so please nobody light me up in the comments afterwards saying, "Oh, he ignores his chat." I'm not seeing anything. It's not showing up on the separate monitor off to the side here. For the artists in the bunch, I'm sure that you all understand that it's relatively easy to draw a shape using shading. It is not so easy with the leather craft. One, unless you all are going via pen only, you can erase. There is no erasing. Not once you started. You can't unpunch holes. Where's that wider piece? There we go. Should just keep them together. So this piece here, I switched to the wider tool because this section was much wider. So what I can do is I can just lead into that section with a thinner part and accomplish the same thing without necessarily needing to trace all over, which will add stress and damage to the paper. And since the ear is going to be tool, it's going to go over that with the wider piece or wider end of the modeling tool. Stay flat. There you go. Nice square jaw. I might even get away with using the rounder ball end on this one because the line is so thick. We'll check on that later. All right. All right, I think that is it for the harder parts. That's almost a lie, actually. All right, so I've switched over to the wider ball end because these lines are more prominent. And I'm gonna denote this for shading, but because it's a wider and darker area, I might end up using a background tool for the shading, and I'll show those if I need to break them out. If I don't, then they're gonna stay where they're at. We gotta reduce clutter on the table. And I have, unbeknownst to myself, committed to going all the way to the edge for the project, so I will be stitching through this top bit of tooling here. Again, not much of an issue. Worst case scenario, not a big deal. If I decide to have him just be regular old Saiyan Goku, his hair will be black, I'll dye it over or paint it over, it's not a big deal. If I make him Super Saiyan, well then you'll see the stitch line. And that goes off of the piece there. Let's drag. There we go. From the ear on out. Prominent outline. Normally I'm not so talkative with what I'm doing, but for anyone watching now and in the future should understand my thought process as to why I did what I did. Prominent lines on the neck and the trapezius. Also, if you have a decent working knowledge of physiology, it's easier to do this sort of craftsmanship slash artwork. If you know what the muscles are called and how they're supposed to look, it becomes easier. Now this part's going to be a little bit difficult because this is a muscle and a tendon and it's taut. So you have a prominent line, but with striations coming down to that prominent line and shading, but thicker shading than in the face. So we're going to use the other side of the modeling tool. And upper chest. Technically, these are striations, not different muscles. Well, these parts here anyway. I think I already got that there. Yep. Oh, man. All right, so because this went from being very prominent to much slimmer, switching into the opposite ends of the modeling tool. And then it went from being slimmer to more of the shading. Then you got your clavicle here, where it dips down into the center of the pectoralis muscles. I'm sorry, the pectoral muscles, aka the pectoralis, because plurality. So I'm just going to continue these down, even though you can't see it past the margin. And I am denoting this for shading, but again, I may use a background tool for that shading depending on, quite honestly, just my choice. Have that out the way. Prominent line down the trap. This should go off of, there we go. I'm gonna give that so your shoulders here, or the beginning of the shoulder past the trap, past the pec there. Yep, I'm gonna make this a prominent one as well as some of that also. And that should be good. All right, now for the rest of the hair. I believe I've got these. The hair would be prominent like the outside of the body there. This is an important line because this borders the eye as opposed to this one. So this completes the shape of the eye. Technically, a little bit of it peeks out right there, but we're going to turn that into the tip for the hair there. And so that it's not completely lost, I'm going to follow this line, but instead of sticking to the middle of it, I'm going to cheat towards the inside of the line so that there is a bit of definition from the edge of the eye to the edge of the hair there. Have a little bit going on there. I'm gonna have to switch tools when I'm cutting from this one to this one, but again, that bridge will be crossed when I come upon it. Come on, there we go. Hello, around the ear? I don't know, it doesn't feel like I do. Right there. Okay. Should be getting to the end soon. There it is. This is going to be fun. However, there are a lot of opportunities for this to go very, very sideways. Let's check on it. Ah, of all of the things to not get right, so stupid. I got the nose, I got this, I got this. I did not get his mouth. How do you mess that up? Come on. Nope, should have used this one. It is a prominent line, but I can get more pressure with that there. And it looks like, yep, nope. Forgot this whole line right there. Dummy. That. Not that. Still on point. All right, that's better. Okay, so we've gotten past the beginning stages, and what's left now is, well, come on for there. Ah, well, I don't want to take the tape off of the back because the tape is gonna be what keeps its shape. So we're just gonna leave that as is. All right, I'm gonna check and see if I have missed any chats just in case. All things. Oh, your sons are Dragon Ball fans. I don't know how I missed this comment, Miss King. Uh, King Kai, awesome. I am not seeing any comments on this thing here that I'm doing, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just doing YouTube wrong. Well, sorry, I am so late in responding to your comment. It is not personal, I assure you. All right, so going to use two different tools for the swivel knifing. So we've got this swivel knife here from Tandy. This is a Tandy Pro. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. This is a Seiwa. This is a Seiwa. Got this in Japan. It's one of their pro versions, I believe. The blade is ceramic and the blade is from Tandy. I prefer the ceramic blades personally. In my personal experience, they don't need to be stropped as much. That's just me though. Um, and then for the finer cuts, we've got the swivel knife from Tandy, and this has a 1/8 inch 1/8 inch blade with the same angle up here. A lot of swivel knives are flat across. I don't use those. I haven't had bad experiences with them, but I've had better experiences with these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually let's do the hard thing first. So I'm going to do the eyes and the ears first because that requires um, the most care. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Feel like I didn't get the ear right. That is nope, it's good. So I just got to make sure that I do the shading properly. Hopefully, I can get away with with knocking it out with just the tooling. Let's go ahead and prep these two. So this is a 1/8 inch beveler. This will be something that's going to get used for the eyes, the areas around the eyes and around the ears. For the rest of the project, it's not a very thick project. It's only about 3 ounce leather. I'm not going to be using the Berry King Extra Steep. That is very unnecessary. I'm just going to use another one of the bevelers that I have. Yep, I'll just use one of these ones here. So I'm going to set these to the side. And now, so we're going to get to the stropping. So for those who don't know, stropping is where you're not sharpening your blade when you're doing this. You're removing the burrs from the edge of your tool. Every bladed instrument with use is going to build up burrs on the edge, and it will make it less and less sharp. But unlike sharpening, which is removing material from the end and bringing it to a fine point, this is just removing those things from the edge and basically restoring the point that was already there. You shouldn't use a strop on something that is dull. You're not going to sharpen it. Only use a strop on something that's already sharp to make sure that it maintains its edge. All right, there's that. Make sure I don't have anything residual on my hands so that I stain this project here. And here we go. Doing this to where it's a little more visible. That did not help at all. I am so sorry, but my hand is just going to be in the way for this. Y'all can't see what I'm doing, but I definitely can. And unfortunately for right now, that is the more important function. Come on. So if you have ever disliked tracing, you are going to greatly dislike tooling into leather unless you are very artistically inclined and can create things off the top of your head, in which case you might like tooling leather. Side note, I am very jealous of you if you can do that. And shout out to Miss King for sticking around and being there for my live streams. Also to Sarius. Those two are holding me down for my streams. I greatly appreciate that. I really do. And we're gonna, all right, eyes, the eyebrow. Now, in the case of the eyebrows, um, I might have to add some sort of texture to it to denote, to delineate, because I can't just make it darker. Something has to happen to it. What is going on? Okay, so it's ah, like a complete fool. I left something out. Make sure that I'm looking at the right thing. This section here. There we go. Got the rest of his hair properly attaching. Okay, sweet. The underside of the lip. The shading will be done with a modeling tool, excuse me, with the beveler. Now, thankfully, this art style, though very capable, actually has a lot of sharp lines. So, for this here, for the bridge of his nose, this is really straightforward. Triangles or cuts down. So we are solid. And a nice little gap. And then on. And I believe that I am done with this smaller tool there. And in about a minute, I'm going to check the chats to see if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, or requests. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and slide it over, get this side too. Get the extra debris off of there. Da, da, da. Tandy has a 50% sale off. That looks very difficult. So, Okay, so yes, if it's oil on the board, I think I talked about that. What's on the board is what's called jeweler's rouge. There's different types. The one that Tandy has is white. It's pretty good. But the ones that I have, one is blue. Well, you can't really see the remnants of it there. You can see some of it there. And then one is green. Blue is for it's a little bit more. You can get more off of it. It's basically an increase in fineness, and green is the higher degree of fineness. Basically, stepping it up so that you have better stropping capabilities. Um, truthfully, I don't know if I needed the green, but the blue is actually a better polishing compound. Having said that, the white polishing compound, completely fine. Literally nothing wrong with it. If on your journeys in the leathercraft you decide that you want to have more, then by all means step it up. The blue is perfect. Um, Truthfully, I don't need the green. I'm not going to buy the green anymore. So once it's out, it's out. The blue is perfectly fine. So with this here, I'm going to start with the outside lines first, mostly because they're the easiest to do and the least likely to get anything all messed up. Remember, always turn the project. Do not maneuver yourself. So let me explain what I'm doing here. I'm doing all of the things that are on the same thing first. So this is the outline of the bottom of the hair here, the bottom piece of that bit of hair there, the bottom piece there, the bottom piece there. So I'm going to be doing all of these pieces here. This is, I guess now not really the bottom, but just the outside. And I'm doing that so that everything that requires the same motion gets done at the same time. I don't want to do this and then this. Everything that needs the same motion is happening at the same time. This part here is very important. And if we remember from the picture, it ends with a little bit of spikiness there from where the hair is bending, so it's not a pure curve. So we've got some of this, some of this, and then some of that again. Yep, that piece is in front of that piece. Now, it doesn't seem like it, but you have to have pretty decent spatial awareness when you are doing, especially tooling and leather, because you need to make things appear as if one thing is in front of the other when you're doing it on a flat two-dimensional image. And In art, you can do it via shading, but with the leathercraft, you have to do it via the beveling. You have to physically push down the thing that is behind, or supposed to be closer to, or further away rather, what you're looking at. And I'll show that when I start the tooling, but you have to be aware of that. Right there, in there. And a piece of the hair. That's, is there a gap or is this a, okay. So this piece is in front of, and the ear rolls there. Yep. Temple and the jawline. Gonna go right into the neck there since we already have the trap done. Gonna have that come out just a little bit. We have to be cognizant of where that's gonna be later for the tooling. Let's go, Kakarot. Kakarot. One of the trickier names in anime, if I'm honest. I'm gonna have to strop this after about another pass or two. That doesn't seem right. Okay, yeah, it does stop. Right. It should be a little more prominent. There we go. Need to have that more in the center. Sorry about that, y'all. Actually, let's keep it like so. Any extra residue off. We're in the home stretch, so we just got the ears and then the shoulders and then the tops of the pecs. Make sure I'm not going crazy there yet. Prominent line with the shading. go down for the prominent part of the nose here. And then this there. And then I'm going to use the tools to give the shading to better shape the nose. That's what I'm going to go for there. I said I was done, and I messed around and lied to y'all. I am sorry. Had to break out the small one again. From there in. Sorry if I'm not talking through this one. I am not wanting to mess up on something that has the curves and whatnot in there. I don't want to screw it up. Also, I forgot about the rest of the hair. Foolish mortal. Note, that is not a Dragon Ball Z quote. At least not one that I can remember. It's the top of the ear. Goes into that. And the rest of the side of the head there. And the inside of the ear. You know what? I can pull that off with. Can pull that off with this here. There we go. I was being lazy earlier. Sorry about that. But these lines are more prominent, so they're going to get the bigger one. That's more shaded than anything, so we're going to go on ahead and bust out the modeling tool for that. From Jump Street. There we go. Better. Better. Much better. A little darker. Alright, now for anyone who's wondering why I'm not just applying this directly to the leather, distribution of force, simple law of physics, what I need from these tools, if I apply it directly in, it's a little bit too much pressure. So I could get more damage out of it in detail. But by using this transfer paper, I can get a little bit more going on. I completely forgot that little quirky smirk he's got going on there. I thought I had got that earlier. A little bit of action there. All right. All right, got the inside of the ears. I did not get all the inside of the ears. There we go. Much better. I might even be able to get away with doing this on the inside. Nope, still gonna have to bevel it. Okay, so I think we're to the point where we're gonna commence with the beveling. Let me check and see if I have any comments. Your volume is low. Maybe it's my AC noise. Is the leather still damp? Well, it's still to sharpen your knives. Okay. All right. So, yes, with the oil on the stone to sharpen my knives. I don't have those particular stones here. I can't remember if I gave them away or lost them. I use just a simple handheld tool for simple stuff, and for anything that has any real damage to it, I take it to the sporting goods store. There's a guy there who can make my knives so sharp that I can cut through space and time with them. So I'm just going to take my stuff to a professional there. What was the other one? Is the leather still damp? It is. I'm going to hold off on re-wetting for right now. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right, I'm going to hold off on re-wetting for the moment. I shouldn't have to, especially with the amount of tooling that I'm going to be doing. It's not going to be that serious. There was one more question. Dang, what was it? And my volume is low, but maybe it's your AC noise. It's probably me because I don't have the external mic hooked up. I don't have the adapter for the device, and I'm speaking downwards as opposed to straight or up in the camera. So I'll just work on talking a little bit louder. That should fix a decent amount of what all is going on so far as the hearing. Let me see if there is a way. I cannot see this chat over here. Nope, still not showing me. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to use, where's my textured one? Oh, come on. That's why we can't have nice things. I had a textured beveler that is geographically mislocated, but it's all good. We'll still make it work. Truthfully, it was a little bit wide for what we're doing, but still. The smaller one here is going to be what I'm going to use for the eyes. So I'm just going to make the eyes, the areas around the eyes, I'm going to bevel it down just a little bit. Bevel it down just a little bit so that the eyes are a little more prominent. I don't want them to be flush. strike in there. So we're gonna do this. Technically, yes, I'm ready for the Super Bowl. I will be going to a friend's place. All right. So, hopefully, this right here will be a little bit to the side so you all can see what I'm doing. Let's do this so it doesn't move as much. Ah, that hammer is just completely in the way. All right, gonna have to reposition so that you all can see what I'm doing. This should be a little bit better. So like I was saying before, do all of the stuff that needs to happen first. So I'm just gonna bevel across everything that's coming downward. That's to be in front of something. For instance, this hair is to be in front of the forehead, so I'm gonna bevel down. This is too, but I'd have to flip this around or turn the piece, so I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm going to let me see if I can zoom in. All right, hopefully that helps it a little bit more. Then the eye, but then the hair that's in front of said eye. Can I get away with moving it right there? I think I can. And then this bit of hair is in front of the rest of the head of hair that's there. This hair is in front of the background. Actually, this doesn't need a small bevel because there's just background. So we go with the bigger. Ah, foolish. I see something that I missed. This is why we can't have nice things. There we go. Maybe we can still have nice things. All right, so got that. Got that. Got that. device I was using for my reference turned off. Want to make sure that I'm staying in frame for y'all. Channel. All right. Oh, you know what? I did the thing and I can see all the chat now. Am I directly on the line? So yes, when you're beveling, you should be directly on where the line is, and I'll show you when I'm gonna do a new line. I've already started on these ones, so I will. Okay, so with this one here, let me move it a little bit more in frame, a little closer. So I know that this part of his neck is in front of this part of his trapezius, or so. Is that right? Yeah. So his neck and his trap is right here. As I'm looking at him, his head is in front of his neck. The neck is in front of the trap. So I'm gonna put this beveler with the flat side here and then the side that's beveled away, like so. So what's going to be left is the neck area will be left up and down. Then the side that's his trap is going to be beveled downward, and it will give the impression that the trap is behind it. And I'll be doing the same thing all over. So for instance, with this area here of the clavicle and the pecs would be a little more towards me than his neck and clavicle. So this area here would be beveled down, beveled outward. And I may actually need to re-wet this. It is sticking hard in there. So, let me see. I have, yes I do, thank goodness. I was unintentionally prepared. I'll take it though. So with leather work, I think I've said it before, I will never stop saying it. If you have to re-wet a piece, you've got to re-wet the whole thing. Otherwise, you will have what I refer to as water stains. It's discolorations. So when it dries, the stuff that was wet will dry a different color, very slightly, but will dry a different color than stuff that was not. So if you're gonna re-wet a piece, even if you're completely done tooling that area, you're still gonna have to apply some water to that section. For something this small, not a big deal. For something bigger, just more time consuming. All right. Thank goodness I was unintentionally prepared for that. Alright, let's try this again. just glides a little better. Just have to be very aware of what's supposed to be where, what's supposed to be in front of what. Like I was saying earlier, the body, the hair, all that stuff is in front of the background, so you've got to bevel down the background. Hopefully I have kept the hammer off of the shot. I have not. Dang it. I'm sorry, that is just unavoidable on my end. I'd have to completely remove and reapply the setup that I have, and I don't have I can't redo it. I can't reset it up. I'm sorry. Right now, I wish I had that textured beveler. I think it would be nice to have a texture around him, especially when I antique it. It'll just pop a little more. I wonder if I can just. I'm doing it, even though I'm gonna hate myself. Because when I antique it, I want the area around him to pop. I don't want it to just be dark. So, yep. So I'm gonna definitely bevel around, and then after I'm done beveling, I'm gonna hit it with that background tool to give it some greater texture. Alright. Now this part here. The details are crisper now that it is. Hold on. That it is wet. Oh yeah, yep. I thought I had actually wet it enough initially that I wouldn't have to re-wet it because it's such a thin piece, and that's what I get for thinking. Although I will say, thank you for suggesting it. I was probably going to go another 8 or 10 minutes before realizing how wrong it was and regretting those results. So, good looking out. I appreciate the suggestion. that's all of the outside. Actually, nope. Yep. This part here too. Got to make sure we get Kakarot popping over here. You know what? I'm just gonna start from down here since all of this is technically closer. I was wondering why it was turning so dang much. Didn't have the weight on it. There we go. Let me see. Yep. How much practice did you do before doing an actual project? Um, that is a very odd story. That's hard to answer. I was still in the military at the time, and I was deployed, and I spent every moment that I had where I wasn't directly tasked with something, with doing something with the leathercraft. So once the day-to-day stuff was done, and I didn't have extra tasking from my seniors, I was doing leather stuff. So it was hours and hours and hours. You know, I don't even know how many before people asked me to do something, and I felt comfortable enough to say yes. Um, However, it's all about your level of comfort. So if somebody asks you to do something and you believe that you can do it, or you don't know if you can, but you feel comfortable taking it on, then you're ready. If it turns out great, you were right. And if it turns out so, then you learn. There's no losing. Learn that lesson from Master Helio Gracie. There is no losing. You either win or you learn. There's that tool. Here we go. This is better suited, I think. Yeah. Nope. It fell over, didn't it? Yes, it did. Actually, make sure this is properly centered again. I'm going to cheat a bit and there we go. I thought I had a bigger textured beveler, but I was wrong. Weight down. There we go. So compared to the other bevelers that I was using, this one is it has a texture to it. So here's the other one for compare and contrast. Yep. So cool. So what I'm gonna do uh, instead of beveling and then trying to get some texture after, I'm gonna texture and I'm gonna texture and bevel at the same time. Sorry about that. A tool dropped. Especially because how this was drawn, it's a straight line and then shading. So I'm gonna roll right into the shading with the beveler. And that should give me what I was looking for on that end. Although I am going to need something for under the nose. That is too fine. Need something a little more rougher and textured. That is also too fine. You know what's weird? I thought for sure I didn't have enough tools sometimes. And it turns out that often enough, you're just going to have too many. Which is odd, but hey, I'll take it. You know what they say? Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. For the record, I don't know who they are, but it justifies my purchases. So there you have it. You know what? I'm gonna do that textured beveler inside the ears too. It should help me achieve what I was searching for. This is a little too wide for the tight radius. Excuse me, tight radii. There we go, proper terms. Tight radii that I have in here. But especially when the antiquing is applied, should give me what I'm looking for. And this one is actually big enough that I think I can properly use this tool. Yes. Almost perfect. Almost. Truthfully, damn near perfect. Damn near. Can I cheat and use it in here? Almost, yeah. I'll take that. And I am still going to use this textured beveler on the eye area. Because, whoa, snap. Because it's going to give me more of what I'm looking for. But I just got to be really gentle with the strikes that I'm using. And hopefully this weight isn't blocking anything. All right, sweet. Truthfully, I'm gonna go ahead and just keep cheating. I'm gonna keep using this textured beveler for all around the non-hair parts in order to make the character stand out a little bit more. I'm gonna regret it later because this is starting to make my arm hurt. But hey, you gotta sacrifice for our craft sometimes, right? That's right. The side of the head is in front of the ear, so this goes back. I'm really gonna have to reconcile this ear shape. As it was drawn, it looks like it's going outward, like an elf ear, and I need to curve this last 16th of an inch in, which sucks, but hey. First world problems. First world problems. Could be worse. What? Ah, I am so stupid. This is why we can't have nice things. I was wondering what the hell's going on with this. This comes out and goes nowhere. It's because I forgot to do this part. And this has moved and shifted so much. I don't know if I'll be able to just draw it in and fix it. Let's make sure that that's on the end. I think it is. So we are just going to go for it. And that is what arrogance and hubris gets you. I'm glad that this blade remains sharp. Now that makes more sense. Okay. Truthfully, I'm just going to use the bigger beveler up here with all this hair going on. I got 3 folks in the chat right now. By all means, tap in. Let me know where y'all are from. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, requests, any of that good stuff, let me know. Whoa. Yep. Da-da-da. If you have not already, please give me a like as you're coming in. I appreciate that. From what I hear on all these live streams, that actually matters. Uh, I'm not sure how true that is because a lot of what YouTube dub is kind of arbitrary, but I'll play the game. By all means, if you're liking what you're seeing, please throw me a like. I appreciate it. I really did not properly case this leather when I started. It should be. I shouldn't have had to have reapplied twice already. That or because I have a bunch of fans going on around me, uh, the extra airflow is taking away some of the moisture. It's a slight theory. I know it's a way to dry leather off quicker is to have a fan going over it, but hey, we'll see. Big stuff, big stuff. The hair over the hair. Philly in the house. Start moving. I really massively failed to not have any music going on in the background. I'm very upset with myself. My shoulder. called lettuce. Okay. Yes, you. I did get your message about the prize that you won. I'm glad you like it. I hope that you enjoy it, or that if you gave it to somebody else, that they enjoy it. I'm so sorry that I just lost it. I I put it in the right bag, but completely forgot about it, and it just came up missing. Took me a while to find it, but finally you got what you earned. See, I hope that more people see this, mostly because I want people to understand why I charge what I charge, or why folks in this craft charge what they charge. Because I know folks who charge between 50 and 65 an hour for just the tooling. So there's the price of what you, the cost of, I'm sorry, I said that right. The price of what you purchased plus the hourly cost of having a custom tool. Me personally, I charge 35 an hour on top of the item it is that you bought. That's just me. This is textured. Here we go. So if somebody were to buy the wallet that this is intended for, and I sell it for 35, because a good amount of work actually goes into it. So it's 35 plus the hourly cost of me doing this here. Now I would never charge somebody for me setting up and streaming. That's not on them. But for everything else outside of that, that's the cost of creating it. This is gonna take me several hours to complete, and that's if I don't do any painting or dyeing. So hopefully people see this and they understand what all goes into these things that they're asking folks for. It doesn't matter that we love doing it. It doesn't matter that it was fun or there was growth involved. The bottom line is it's a lot of time. You're paying for labor, material, and skills. See, we say this, but a lot of people don't understand the labor and the skills part. For instance, I keep it with me all the time, but the very first thing I ever made is here on the desk. And of course, I put a bunch of things on top of it. So, the first thing I ever made that I wore was a cuff bracelet. And I didn't know how to do anything. I had some deer skin and a little bit of barge glue, and I tried different. This is when I was practicing different ways to put stuff together, and I couldn't stitch in a straight line, and I tried whip stitching on the side just to see how it turned out. And then I thought, hey, this is long enough. I could turn this into a bracelet. So I used a bunch of Sam Brown studs and punched some holes, and I stitched my initials in there. the JRO, and I wore the hell out of this. I even put a little concho thing on there too. I wore it and wore it and wore it till it just wore out. And then also I was in the gym and my wrists, my arms got bigger, so I can't fit this anymore. This was the first thing I ever made that I was happy enough to go about wearing. And were my wrists slim enough, I would still wear it. But this is my progression. This is where I'm at right now. I finished making that yesterday at Starbucks. Yep. $35, and most times I need two-third Hanks for a shawl. Yeah, people don't understand. But yeah, first thing I ever made. Thing I finished yesterday with the pocket in the middle there, and then the thing I'm working on right now. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and make this a highlight. Bam. So yeah, hold on. Actually, that's here we go. So when people like when you're paying for labor, you are paying for somebody who has gone from this to this and then to this. So when folks say, "Oh, it didn't take you that long," or "It's so simple," or something or other, it's not. It didn't take me a short period of time. This was in 2014, and then this is 2024. This is 10 years of work. So hopefully, oh, thank you very much. Hopefully, when it comes to me going to these markets and everything like that, um, people understand what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do, and they also understand that I'm not trying to get over on them. Yes, I'm trying to make money. Yes, I'm trying to make a profit. Yes, I'm trying to create and then run a business. Well, technically, it's already created. I have my business license, but I need something to hold that down. And yes, that is a water bottle that's shaped like R2D2. I'm a nerd. Leave me alone. I just hope that people understand that the prices are not some attempt to get over on people. The price is coming from the growth and the ability. How am I going to separate? It's going to be a tough one. Got to separate the eyebrow from the eyes, but not crazily. So this tool is to bevel things on two sides, and I wish I had one that was up half the size. It would be better for what I'm doing. Like one of my knitting machines is 1,500. Oh yeah, I fully understand you. I got a machine supposed to be coming inside of a week. A sewing machine that is, including the shipping, it is three. It was 3,200, and I lucked out because it's getting shipped to the Tandy instead of to my house, and the shipping, it happens to just be covered by the shipping of the store, since it's not going to anywhere specific. I mean, if it was coming to me, the shipping would be an extra. I think $450, $500 extra. So crazy. All right. sit here and do this for both sides. Maybe not. Should be alright right there. Alright, thank you R2D2. I think that I can get on to the texturing part now. There we go. It is still insanely hard to grab tools. I made a video about it a while ago, but with about a year left on my contract in the service, I had a catastrophic injury to my dominant hand, and I lost a part of it, technically two parts of it, and massive hindrance to my dexterity. That doesn't look like it, but that's because I am massively overcompensating with the rest of my right hand. You know, these little coping mechanisms that I had to figure out on my own because my ship, despite me requesting it several times, never made any appointments for me for occupational therapy, so I had to figure it out on my own. And then by the time they got me to occupational therapy, they had told me they couldn't help me because I, for the most part, healed up from all the injury. So I had been failed until they could help me, and then the people that were supposed to help me told me that they couldn't help me. And that is par for the course for military medicine. It's pretty great at a lot of things, but pretty trash at a bunch of other things. Oh, for the record, that is also what you get with like single payer healthcare. Single payer healthcare is military healthcare, and let me tell you, you do not want that. Nobody wants that. So there you go. Please, please don't go that route. Well, since I've darkened up the irises, we've removed the likelihood that this is Super Saiyan Kakarot, because Super Saiyan Kakarot has teal eyes, and that is not how we're rolling, unless I want to break out the paint, and I don't. All right, so I think that we are about as done as we're gonna get. Maybe add a little bit more. Hold on, how dark is this? Oh, that's right. We got a little bit more shading in there. Yeah, try to press down a little bit more. Okay, there we go. I think we are as good as we're getting. Maybe add a little bit more, a little something there, a little something. Something for the antique to grab hold of. Okay, I think we're at a good stopping point. Can't really. They treat our veterans so. You know what the crazy part was? I wasn't a veteran at the time. I was still active duty, and they failed hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. The emergency response was outstanding. The corpsman and the surgeon Then Commander Moser. I'm not sure if she's still in or if she's been promoted. She was outstanding. Just really, really great. Oh wait, was she commander? I think she's lieutenant commander now. I think she was lieutenant then. I think she got promoted. She was super awesome, really great. Long story about how I was. It's weird. I was completely conscious for my surgery. I'll tell that story later if anybody wants to hear it. But her, the doctors that were there. Sorry, so her, the attending nurse, and the corpsman, super awesome. Everybody was helping out during the recovery process. That was great. But the patient care follow up once I was no longer in an, I guess, an emergent situation, trash. The trashiest of trash. It wasn't quite hot garbage, but it was definitely garbage, and it was an easy fix. Truthfully, nothing needed to be fixed. It was an easy thing to not do, and it just everybody dropped the ball. It was crazy. Uh, and up. See, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hate myself for it, but I'm gonna do it. So this is a hair blade. Uh, uh, so I'm gonna put some hair texture into the eyebrows because just making them dark isn't gonna work. So I'm gonna put some hair texture into the eyebrows. Um, this is gonna make or break this project here, because if I mess up here, then I have to put the hair texture all over. So, kanpai. Okay. So this is the downside to the leather crafting here, is you have to go all in or not at all. So if I mess this up, I would have had to have gone with hair texture everywhere to cover up the bad hair texture. But it's all good. We got that straight. So I'm gonna let this dry out, and then I'm gonna apply some neat's foot oil. I said I'm gonna let it dry out. I'm gonna see how it looks just to make sure there's no other ill effects. And I'm gonna let it dry out clean, and then once it's all dry, then I'll add some antique so that it gets into the crevices and everything, darkens it up nice and crisp. Okay, so there we have it. We've got the Kakarot doing his thing. Let me put the cover back on. All right, everybody, that is it. That is 116 minutes, basically 2 hours. You want me to hold it up again? Hold on 1 second. So hopefully, whoever it is gets this will be very pleased with it. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be an extra $70. Well, actually, I take that back. Probably only an extra, uh, maybe 40 or 50. Have a good. Thank you very much. You please enjoy the game as well. I will be rooting for my Niners. Been a Niners fan since I was a kid. Very first sports interaction at all when I was in kindergarten was very 49ers related. So I'm shooting for it, hoping for them. Yes, I'm sorry. It's not personal. Trust me. If it was not the Niners, then it would have been the Lions. My mom's whole family is from Detroit. My whole house, if it's Detroit, then it's Detroit over everything. I respect that you are going for the Chiefs. They beat my Niners last time, so I respectfully will have to say that I think you're back on the wrong horse. But truthfully, the game's going to be great. Hopefully, it's a high scoring game, or if it's not high scoring, it's because there's awesome defensive plays. So I don't know. I don't really know. Um, I think it's going to be one of these ones where it's going to be. I think the combined score is going to be over 60. I will say that. I think the combined score will be over 60. Hopefully, it's something like 34, 35, you know, or like something in the high 30s. I don't want to see a one-sided beatdown. I mean, even if it's my Niners, I mean, after a while, it's going to be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's a blowout. Big deal. Next. I hope it's a tight game. So, all right, cool. Thank y'all very much for tapping in, watching. I appreciate it. I really do. Again, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, or requests, hit me up in the comment section or hit me up on Instagram at j.renard.leather. If you haven't already, there's all the good stuff right there. Thank y'all very much for your time and attention. I'm Jay Renard, and I'm out. Peace.